All right, wonderful. Welcome everybody to the open enrollment for Med-Scribe. The benefit period is December 1st of 2025 and runs through November 30th of 2026. We're just going to go over a high-level overview of the plans that are being offered this year, but encourage you, please look at the benefit booklet that is being sent out, but also will be loaded in the Paychex Flex to Flock system. So just some important things to go over this year for open enrollment. It has started today, November 6th, and will run through November 15th. This is being done in the Flock system. So what you will do is you will go to your Paychex Flex. You will click on the Health and Benefits button, and that will take you to the Flock system. The Flock system is really user friendly. We do ask that even if you're making no changes and no action is needed, we do ask that you go in and just make sure that all of your information in there is accurate. If you have dependents on the plan, please make sure their information is accurate as well. If you're enrolling a dependent for the first time, please make sure that you have the date of birth and the social security number correct. Sometimes people will put in 1199 to get it to go through the system, and that will work for the social security number. However, we are not able to enroll your dependent with incorrect social. So we want to make sure that everybody has access to their coverage. Please make sure that information is correct. If you plan on making any type of changes, and it means enrolling a dependent, removing a dependent, changing between plans, we ask that you do that by the 15th. If you waived the plan last year, please go in and waive it again this year. And if you waive your coverage this year, you will not be able to enroll until next open enrollment unless there is a qualified event. A qualified event means something like you got married or birth of a child, you lost coverage, adoption, or a court order. Now, if you have a qualified event, you need to make sure that you go in and do that within 30 days of the qualified event. Okay, moving on, we're going to go over the plans that are being offered this year. Again, these are high-level overview. I encourage you to please look at that benefit summary. I'm just going to give you more in-depth information, and I want to make sure that you're making the best decisions for you and your family. This year, you have the MVP EPO High Deductible Health Plan. This is the low plan. Now, when I say an EPO, what does that mean? So an EPO is like of a hybrid of an HMO and a PPO. Now, it gives you just that in-network coverage, but you do have the national coverage of MVP. But an EPO does not give you true out of network coverage, meaning you still have to stick within that MVP network and the MVP contracted national network. But like a PPO, it doesn't need referrals. So an HMO would require you to get a referral from your primary doctor to go see a specialist. An EPO does not. So it's kind of a mix between the PPOs and the HMOs. The deductible for this plan is $6,450 for single and $12,900 for family. Now, the verbiage coinsurance, what does that mean? So that means that is the cost share between you and the insurance company once you reach your deductible. Now, this plan says none. That's because once you reach that initial deductible, there's just a few different co-pays in between. So that really is only going to apply to the prescription drug. So when you're looking through the list here, you see like primary care, specialist, urgent care, emergency room, inpatient, outpatient, advanced imaging, all subject to that initial deductible. The only thing it goes to copay is for prescription. So that's going to be tier 1, $10, tier 2, $30, and tier 3, $50. All of that applies to that out-of-pocket maximum. The out-of-pocket maximum means that is the most that you would pay in a calendar year, including deductibles, coinsurance, and copays. 6,550 single and 13,100 for family. Preventative care. Preventative care is covered at 100% no matter what plan that you're on. So your well child visits, routine physicals, pap smears, mammograms, and colonoscopies. Now, there are more that fall under preventative. I do like to point out that when you have a preventative care appointment, and maybe you have a conversation with your provider, and maybe you're talking about you're not sleeping good, and maybe they prescribe you something, that can turn to what's called a diagnostic appointment. So you just want to make sure you have that conversation, just to keep it in the realms of preventative. Also, if you are being sent for your mammogram or a colonoscopy, anything that typically falls under the preventative care, but now maybe there is suspect of a problem. Now it might go to diagnostic. So again, just be prepared with that information that when you're making these appointments and maybe it changes to something else, that you will more likely be subject to the deductible or copays. Okay, so moving on. This is your mid plan. This is the EPO high deductible, so it still has a higher deductible, but this is the middle plan. So we got an initial, a little bit lower deductible and out of pocket maximum, and then that's where you see that co-insurance come into play. So this plan has an initial single deductible of $3,000 and family $6,000. Then once you meet that initial deductible, it goes to a 10% coinsurance. So that means you pick up 10%, the insurance company picks up 90%. All of that is applying then to that out-of-pocket maximum of 6,000 single and 12,000 family. The only thing that does go to copay is going to be your prescription copay. So that'd be $5 for tier 1, $35 tier 2, and $60 for tier 3. Everything else subject to the deductible and that 10% coinsurance. And once again, the preventative care is covered at 100%. Moving on. This is the MVP hybrid EPO, and it actually shouldn't say low plan, forgive me. It's the low plan, not the high plan. This particular plan, I'm sorry, it is the high plan. I'm reading it backwards. So sorry. It's your high plan. We started low, mid, high. This plan has a deductible of $1,000 single and $3,000 family. So lower deductible, but then it goes to the co-insurance. So the co-insurance here is 80/20. Insurance company picks up 80, you pick up 20%. Now this one is different, and this is why it is at high plan, because this is now a mix of copays and a mix of deductible co-insurance. So the deductible on this plan is really only going to be rendered for certain services. The majority of this is going to be the copays. The out-of-pocket maximum, 3,000 single and 9,000 family. If you go to your primary care doctor, it's going to be a $30 copay. If you go to the specialist, it's a $50 copay. For urgent care, a $30 copay. For emergency room is a $200 copay. For inpatient hospital stay, it's a $1,000 copay. For outpatient, it's a $150 copay. For advanced imaging, a $50 copay. And then for prescription, $10 tier 1, $30 tier 2, and then $50 for tier 3. So obviously we know there are going to be some services that are going to be deductible rendering services. That's why there's a deductible on this one and a co-insurance. But the majority of this is going to be copays. So please look at the benefit summary, and that's going to give you the more details on all the services and whether they're copays or deductible rendering services. So the last thing to touch on, and there is more benefits than we are speaking about in these open enrollment meetings. There's a lot of stuff to get into, and we try to keep it as high level, but I also want to encourage you to please go and look at the benefit booklet. Download your MVP app so that you can get your ID cards and that you can see the different wellness benefits that are in your plans already. But this was just something new. This was for the GIA telemedicine. So this just is giving you those visits that will be covered in full with no member cost share. So this is something new this year, and this is for those high deductible health plans. Acupuncture. So the coverage has been added to the base plan, which includes 10 visits per plan year with specialist cost share. So that's a really good one, because a lot of times acupuncture is not covered on a lot of plans, but I like to see that they're adding this one in. And then there's, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, but the doula reimbursement. So up to $1,500 reimbursement per pregnancy, which includes 8 sessions, plus the option for birthing assistance. So that's definitely something new this year. If you're pregnant or planning to get pregnant, this might be something of interest for you. And then the Electra for women's health and simplified for breastfeeding. Again, that's something new that are being added into these plans. The other wellness benefits certainly are still in the plans. These were just something different this year. Right, so this is something that you may or may not have already taken advantage of, but MVP does give you up to $600 for well-being reimbursements. Now, there's different ways that you can get the $600 reimbursement. And again, I encourage you, please go into the benefit booklet, but also take a look at the app. So all of that information is going to be in there. How do I access this money? What do I have to do to get reimbursed for this? All of that will be available to you on the member portal. So again, I encourage you, please download this. You have access to all of your information. Also, you'll be able to see, where am I at with my plan? If you have a procedure that's going to come up, I had total knee replacement 3 weeks ago, and I certainly was relying on my app because I needed to know where am I at? What is this going to cost me? Again, when you have plans, especially those that are subject to the initial deductible, it's really important to know where you're at. That way you're not hit with an unexpected bill. Right, moving on. This is the Excellus plan. These benefits are the same. They just rolled over this year. So you still have that dental blue, how, excuse me, dental coverage. The initial deductible for this is 50 single and 150 family. Now, that only comes into play if you have to have anything done. So if you're just falling into the realms of, hey, I'm going to go get my preventative care every 6 months, go get your cleanings, get those x-rays, then you're not subject to that deductible. But that does come in if you have to have any major care. So that is where it's going to be covered at that 50% and pulling from that $1,000 bucket. That does refresh every year. Orthodontia coverage. Now that is a lifetime max. That means one time, $1,000 lifetime max up to age 19. So anything over that does not get that, and it does not refresh every year like that $1,000 bucket does. But if you have kids and maybe they're looking into braces or Invisaligner, it's really nice just to give you a little lump sum towards that. Again, please look at the benefit booklet. It's going to give you more of that in-network, out-of-network coverage. And then this is the Excellus Vision Plan. It is powered on the Vision Davis network, which is a very large network. You can go every year and get your eye exam done. It's only a $10 copay. For material, that is a $25 copay should you need new lenses every year. And then frames every other year. And you get up to $130 cost share for your frames. And then you can get 4 boxes of contact lenses every year, but that is in lieu of getting your eye frames. And forgive me, you actually can get the frames yearly on this plan. It is a 12-12-12 plan, not a 12-24 plan. Forgive me. So that's really great. You get to get new frames every year and lenses. I do like to tell people this is what I do, and I forgive me because I do see a typo on there. And Laura, you could speak up because I can't remember now if it is a 24 for the frames or a yearly.
No,
So
you're
I will.
correct. It's yearly.
It's yearly. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna have to forgive me, guys. It is yearly. I had to remove that 2 years. But I like to tell people go get your eye exam done, get your prescription, and then take it to the only online resource I've ever used is iBuyDirect, and it's spelled just like iBuyDirect. I have to wear both distance and reading glasses, and I tend to lose them. And I have 4 dogs that like to eat my frames, so I do go get my prescription. I do get my frames every year from off of my vision plan, but I also like to go get extras. iBuyDirect, I've used it for about 8 years now, and typically I get new frames, like 2 of them for under $100. So it's not through the insurance, but I can comfortably say that I have used it for a long time and I've never had any issues. So if you wear glasses and you're like me, that might be something to look into. Okay, and then the last thing to touch on is the balance care. So balance care is for you, the employees. This is your advocate service. So this is your liaison between you and the insurance company. And just like your employer has me, as subscribers of the plan, just like myself, I work for Paychex, but I don't really have anybody directly to go to talk to. I have to call the insurance company for that. But your employer is a client of Paychex and they actually give you an advocate. So that's what this is. So you now have your own liaison between you and the insurance company. They can assist you with claims, searching for new providers. If you have a refusal on something, they can help you look into it, research it. Why was it denied? And then help you with that process. So definitely a great benefit available. The number is in the benefit booklet. Don't feel like you have to write it down, but I encourage you, if you have questions, certainly use your balance care. It is available 24/7, and it's for you and your dependents. So definitely a great resource available to you. And I believe we are at the end. I talk really fast, so I apologize. We can go ahead and open it for questions. I know there's not a lot of people on, but if somebody does have a question, this would be the perfect time to ask that.
If anyone is on right now, give Leanne about a half hour or so to go in and correct a mistake that's in there before you go and complete your open enrollment so that everything is up and running correctly, please.
Yep, and I believe
I have a question.
I'm looking at it right now and I'm fixing it right now for you. Yeah, go ahead. You had a question?
Could you talk a little bit about the $600 well care thing? I don't really know much about that, but is that like reimbursing for gym membership, or could you just like touch upon that a little bit more?
Yeah, let me go back and pull that up.
And Leanne, I can
Yeah, go ahead.
step in here and speak a little bit because
Sure.
I know a lot about this benefit.
Yeah, go for it.
So it's really cool, actually. What you do with it is if you go into the MVP portal, it'll give you a really nice snapshot of what is reimbursable. And it's a lot more than you think because
Mhm.
it's a wellness benefit. It's not just health, it's also wellness.
Yep.
So in the last year, I've actually submitted tickets to go to a Broadway show and I got those reimbursed. I have submitted costs for getting a massage. I believe there is a stipulation that you may need to go to a licensed massage therapist, but I think that you have to be licensed in New York State to get that, to be a massage therapist. So that's maybe a moot point, but I got a nice massage reimbursed and I also successfully submitted yoga classes. So I would definitely recommend if you're in the plan right now, definitely look at your MVP portal and there's a little wellness button you can click on that'll take you right to that section and it breaks everything out. Once you've made a purchase that you think is reimbursable, all you have to do is go on the MVP website or in the application, you select, wellness from that drop down, and you'll be able to submit a receipt and the cost amount, and they'll send that right back to you. So I got $600 when we enrolled last year, and I'm hoping to get 600 by the end of this year as well. So definitely something to take advantage of if you do anything that might qualify.
That's great. And is there a time limit? Like if I had joined a gym earlier this year, like is there a time limit on reimbursement?
You know what? I don't think there are. As long as you were enrolled in the plan when you made the purchase, you usually are okay to submit it. I had a few things that I submitted like months later and they did reimburse me. So, don't quote me on that because, of course, MVP makes the decision, but I think that would be
Of
worth
course.
submitting if you paid for it earlier in the year.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. That was a much better explanation than I could have given.
It's one of my favorite parts of the MVP plan, so I like to talk about it.
Oh, I love it. And it is important too because a lot of us don't, even myself, I'm guilty. I don't look into all the benefits, that our employer, Paychex gives us as the employee through Excelis. So certainly if you're using it, I love it. Thank you for giving that information. And then I did fix Flock. So we're good on that now.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leanne.
Absolutely. So I did put in the chat, and it should show up on the recording as well, in my email. So if there's questions, sometimes people don't want to ask it, or obviously things just pop up after meetings. But please reach out. I'm more than happy to, give counsel, and thank you. And I will send the recording over once it is populated.
Terrific. Well, thank you, Leanne, for hosting the meeting for us today. Those of you who are staff of Med-Scribe, if you have any questions for our team or need assistance, you can always call us as well. But we appreciate you attending and looking forward to everybody getting their open enrollment completed. You have about 12 days here, so there's no rush, but call us if you need any assistance.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.